Back on ABC24 this week to talk about the growing rift between the Attorney General's office, specifically Steve Mulroy, and state government, specifically State Senator Brent Taylor and others who are having some fun with this as well. I'm calling it that because but it can be very serious because we have this issue of possibly an ouster attempt once the legislative session starts at the beginning of the year. And I don't think Senator Brent Taylor is going to let go of his desire to do that, no matter how Steve Mulroy tries to accommodate Brent Taylor with some of the different things that he's done. It's just interesting to me. Steve Mulroy kind of took a step back, rethought the issue of the gun diversion. Then after the controversy over the rail garden shooting and how that suspect was released on his own recognizance, he said, okay, wait a second, I'm going to appeal this with an emergency writ, see if we can get another judge to take another look at it. Yet it doesn't seem to be softening the blows that are coming in the other direction. So it's getting interesting because there's a District 28 Attorney General who's a Republican and is representing Steve Mulroy in this issue over whether to oust him. And there's been a little bit of a spat between him and Brent Taylor, between two Republicans over this. AG had made a comment to, Frederick Agee is the Attorney General I'm talking about, had made a comment on WKNO TV, the Behind the Headlines program. He said, I don't mean any disrespect to Senator Taylor. We appreciate his public service, but he's not an attorney. He's never been a prosecutor. He's never evaluated a case. He's never taken a case to trial. To which Senator Brent Taylor responded, I'm no veterinarian either, but I know a horse is you-know-what when I see one. I am, however, an elected senator with a seat on the Senate Judiciary Committee mandated to make Memphis matter. He said that, posted that on X. So I'll let you take this one. As you see this back and forth between these two Republicans over Steve Mulroy, what is going on?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on in terms of the citizens. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, black, white. People are fed up with crime in the city. It's become a town of lawlessness. It's seen across the state. I don't think Senator Taylor is going to be censured or anything else regarding this because it doesn't matter where you live in this community. People are sick and tired of crime. I don't know that we're really living in this community anymore. I feel like we're almost under siege with the amount of thefts, the amount of murders, primarily of African American citizens in this community. And so I don't pay a lot of attention to this. There's a lot of talk about Mr. Agee. Mr. Agee was a Democrat long before he was a Republican. And so, and quite frankly, I've heard that now there are citizens where Mr. Agee comes from that are begging Senator Taylor to come down and speak. So I think it's much about nothing. Okay.
Sam, your publication did some reporting comparing the bond for a African-American suspect over a shooting of 4 people at a lounge in Memphis. Yep. Where the suspect's name is Frank Clemens, 26 years old. He's still locked up on a $1 million bond. Deton Gunn, who's 30 and was accused of shooting 4 people at the rail garden, he was released on his own recognizance. And it just raises a number of good issues because there were a lot of similarities between these two cases.
Yeah, I mean, there was a good report from Aaron Fleming, my colleague at the Memphians, and it just shows that there's just some randomness in the judicial system on how these bonds are set and who's getting out and who's not. But, to push back on Mr. Billingsley here for a second, right? Crime is down.
You call me Mark.
Mark, sorry. So, crime is down. It's down from very high peaks, so that doesn't mean a lot. Well, the narrative is negative. People see in the media, my media, broadcast media, they see that, they feel that sense of siege. At the same time, it is not as violent as it was a year ago. I'm not arguing that it's safe, but and then here, what I think we're talking about here is the people are reacting viscerally to this news about Rail Garden, about a man out on bond, essentially, because they don't feel he should be out on bond. The people are really kind of pushing elected officials. I mean, Steve Mulroy is getting pushed way to his right here, essentially to act because people are fed up, to Mark's point here. And I think that's what we're really sampling. And Brent Taylor, just like Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland before him, former Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland before him, is really voicing people's concerns in that regard.
And it's having an effect. I mean, there are a lot of people who are cheering Senator Taylor on for bringing attention to a system that I think a lot of we feel like we feel removed from. We don't know who these judges are that are granting these bonds and these judicial commissioners. It's just this, peripheral thing, and then all we hear about or know about is that guy who was let out recommits a crime, within hours or days of being locked up.
That's exactly right. But we just need to just take a step back here. It seems that a lot of people, and especially Republicans, are blaming Steve Mulroy for everything that's going on in the criminal justice system. Mulroy did not let that guy out ROR. That was somebody else who did that. And to Brent Taylor here for a second, he is showing the thinnest skin of any politician that I have seen in years here. He cannot take any criticism himself. He's been hammering on Mulroy for months and months and months. And so when somebody pushes back on him, whether it's MLK 50 or even the commercial appeal that reprinted the MLK 50 story, and in this case, Frederick Agee, Taylor takes to social media with some of the most, in some ways, crude comments about people who are criticizing him. That's not the way politicians ought to act. If you want to stand up for your position, then stand up for the position, but don't go and attack people who don't agree with you. And I just think that that's what Taylor is doing here, and it's not serving anybody.
Well, I don't think anybody is blaming District Attorney Mulroy for the amount of shootings that we're having in this community.
No, I disagree with that,
Well, I
Mark.
understand, but and Sam, you're saying, well, we have less crime. We saw 400 people murdered last year.
It's a horrible number.
Horrible number. We're over 200 families now. We don't talk about the victims. We have prosecuted so few people that, do you know that the state is looking into our victims fund? Because we don't have people paying even into our fund. We have prosecuted so few people. And again, we can demonize, Brent Taylor some people can demonize Agee, but the bottom line is, until we see a remarkable improvement in crime, including the judges who are not being held accountable, we don't talk about the judges, but there was a judge that letting these people out without bond on their own recognizance.
But Mulroy recently issued a report that said that there were a lot more trials that were held over the last year than in most of the previous years, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
So, and all of this, Steve Mulroy has only been in office since 2022. It's less, as of today, I think it's 2 years.
Yeah, probably as of today. Right?
As of today, because this was September 1st, I think, when he took office in 2022. And so, where were all of these folks when Amy Wyrick was in office? And I'm not criticizing Amy. She was a good friend of mine. But there was never the level of criticism that Steve Mulroy is getting. And a lot of it is because Steve Mulroy, a Democrat, beat a Republican, and a lot of the Republicans don't like it, and they didn't like it then. That's just a fact.
I think a lot of good could come out of the district attorney's office announcing what they're doing on crime. And when they do proactive efforts, like DA Wyrick did when she's going out doing advanced efforts, closing up bars that are places of multiple shootings. My advice to DA Mulroy would be, go out there and
he's done that. He's doing more of it recently.
But get to work before Senator Taylor has an opportunity to write a letter or criticize.
Well, nothing's going to stop Senator Taylor now. So I mean, he's like a bulldog with a bone, and he's not letting it go.
No, I don't see that happening in the near future at all.